Hey Econ teachers, this is Jacob Clifford. Now school started, so I want to give you some teacher tips. I want to give you some strategies. A lot of people have contacted me and said, hey, I got the ultimate review packet, but I'm not exactly sure how to use it. So how do you use it in your classroom? So I made this video to give you those strategies and a lot of other strategies. So here we go. So for the first part, I'm assuming you already have the ultimate review packet. You've got bulk order licenses for all your students. And the one awesome thing that's in there is the study guides. The study guides is the most valuable thing to use in the classroom. There's a blank version and there's a filled out complete answer key version. So what you do is you print out the printout version for your students, the blank version for your students, and give that to all your students. I personally like using that instead of notes. I know a lot of people like taking notes, and the students, look at a PowerPoint and they're taking notes, but the problem I found over the years, the students are taking notes and it slows down the learning. They're, oh, go back to that slide. Can you go back again? And you're spending all this time teaching the concepts and the kids are writing their notes when really they should just be understanding the concepts and make sure they can practice. For example, like the production possibilities curve. Writing down the definition of the production possibilities curve is not half as valuable as practicing with it, being able to calculate opportunity cost, understanding a point in the curve, on the curve, outside the curve. So if you're writing down the definitions of stuff, sometimes it's kind of a waste of time. And I noticed that over the years. So about 6 years ago, I started telling my students, listen, I'm going to cover the concepts in class. Don't take notes. Just listen to me. And after I cover a concept, then we'll sit down and we'll fill out that section of the blank study guide in the ultimate review packet. So students would sit down, okay, now I want you guys to do, topic 2.1 or 1.2 or whatever we're doing, and they'd fill out that, and that would give them a chance to practice and write down the definition of any concepts that we did along the way. So the study guides do have a few definitions like the key concepts, but mostly it's all about practice. So again, that's just my opinion. I don't have my students take a lot of notes in class, even though they are writing stuff down, but it's mostly stuff they're practicing. The best thing I like about having either a study guide or some other guided notes for your students is that when a kid is absent, they come in, they think, they have regular notes, like, okay, here's where I finished off and here's my new notes. They don't realize that there's this huge gap of information that they don't know because they weren't there that day. And so their notes just continue on. But if you have a guided notes or study guide, then they realize there's this gap of stuff missing. Like, okay, you weren't here for that. You missed this and you missed this and you missed that. So it's easier for students to realize what they know and don't know when you give students something that's guided notes. Okay, let's fill this thing out. If you have gaps, then obviously you didn't learn something. And that's what I use my blank study guides in the ultimate review packet for. But keep in mind that the students will have the answer keys. So it's really not an assignment for points. You don't say, okay, go home tonight and fill out the study guide and it's worth 20 points or something like that in your classroom. You can't really do that because the students have the answer key. And tell the students that ahead of time, like the answers are online. You already have the ultimate review packet. You know you can get the answers anytime, but don't fill it out ahead of time. Come to class, understand the concept, listen to me teach, let me explain these concepts to you, and then fill out that section of the ultimate review packet, that study guide. But you want to make sure you create in the students this idea of, okay, let's practice and let's learn this stuff. It doesn't really help if you just, fill this thing out and they take up the answer key and just fill it out. So for me, that's how I use the blank study guides. I give them to all the students in class at the beginning of the unit, and as we're progressing through all the different content, the students are filling out those different parts, and by the end, they've got this great summary tool that kind of summarizes everything in the entire unit, and they can use that, for maybe quizzes. If you give quizzes along the way, say, okay, you can use your study guide, but I don't let them keep that study guide for the actual test, right? So they can't keep that thing, but obviously it's a great review tool to study for the test. Another great way to review is to assign the summary videos to your students. So like the day before the exam, say, okay, on the ultimate review packet, there's these unit summary videos. Watch the unit summary video. None of them are longer than 30 minutes. And so it summarizes all the concepts in the entire unit in one video. And you tell students, listen, if there's something you come across that you don't get, then go back and watch another one of Clifford's videos, or make sure you go read the book or find that information if you don't understand that concept. But the summary video is good because it gives them like big fat summary of all the concepts they should know in that unit. And to help students practice, the packet has exclusive practice sheets and videos. So there's several different things that are only in the packet, not on my YouTube channel or anywhere else, that's like some practice. So for, macroeconomics, there's one on bank balance sheets that explains bank balance sheets, how do you do it, and they ask them a bunch of questions in video format. So you can assign that to your students. Okay, tomorrow we're gonna cover bank balance sheets, but tonight, watch this video, fill out maybe that portion of the study guide, then tomorrow you come to class, let's go ahead and do some practice for responses. So you can actually flip your classroom by using the study guide, the blank study guide, and the answer key study guide, and the practice videos that I have inside the Ultimate Review packet. But again, those are the exclusive videos that are just in the packet. Now, the micro and macro packets also have 2 full AP tests, practice AP tests. They also have access to the live stream videos I'll have before the AP test. That stuff is really designed for the end of the year, getting ready for the AP test. So I don't really do much with those practice tests until the end of the year, but they're there and you can assign those to the students. Okay, try this. And don't forget, at the end of those tests, there is on the answer key, there's a link that takes you to a video where I cover all those questions. So every single question on 120 multiple choice questions, I have a video explaining every single one of them, making sure students get it. So that's really designed at the end of the year to review and get ready for the AP test. Now what we have to talk about is the worksheets. The bonus worksheets come if all of your students get the Ultimate Review packet. The worksheets are awesome. I spent all this last year, the whole spring, just developing these things. Every single topic 1.1, 1.3, or all of them, all have a worksheet, at least one, but you could overuse them. So don't just have your students come in and say, okay, here's another worksheet, fill it out. Okay, boom, here's another worksheet, fill it out, and go on. Remember though, these can be used for an assignment and for points because students won't have the answer key. I gave you a link, so now you have that link to the worksheets. Don't give your students that password and those codes to get in there, but basically you give those students the worksheets. You can assign it in class or you can, give it as homework, but either way, you should definitely go over the answers at some point with your students, and you've got the answer keys as well, so you can post the answer key on your projector and have students grade each other's, or just go over the answers in class. But at some point, students need to go over those answers. But please do me a favor, don't post the worksheets or the answer keys on an internet website that anyone can go steal those. Those are like the most valuable thing I create, so please don't put those online. So I do all my worksheets, by the way, in class, and I do practice for responses in class. That's when my students really do a lot of practice, is in class, because if I assign it for homework, I'm always worried that students are like filling stuff out, and stealing answers from each other like I did when I was in high school, at lunchtime. And so I like to do stuff in class and practice. That's why the videos are so valuable, because I can assign the videos to students, make sure they get it, then they come into class, and it's time to practice. If you haven't already seen it, there's a link on my website. All the free responses they've released, organized by content or topic. So it's really easy to kind of find, okay, I need a good Phillips curve question. I need a good Monopoly question. Boom, you can go look on my website. It's all right there. There's a link in the description below if you haven't seen that yet. Now, a quick reminder, please remember that the Ultimate Review packet is sold with a 1 student for 1 year license. So each one of your students need to have a license if you use the blank study guides in class or any of the worksheets. Don't give out any of the worksheets to your students unless every single one of your students have a license. I know I keep repeating that over and over again, but you'd be surprised how many emails I get of people like, hey, can I please have 5 licenses? I've got 58 students. So please help me out and help me enforce these rules. Make sure each one of your students have a license. And remember, those licenses expire in 1 year's time, and so you can't use this year's worksheets with next year's students. You'll have to get licenses for those students. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Send me an email. I'll help you out. You want me to make more stuff, I'll make it. I am here for you. Thank you so much for watching my videos and getting the packet. You rock. Until next time.